How was your Dorian experience? The 2 seconds it was here while we were all asleep.
It was I was not asleep. I was awake for the entire thing. And I wanted more, honestly.
The house felt very empty, and Dorian was just like...
Oh, yeah.
The rain was very loud. I still fell asleep, though.
It was nice rain. I think as a Floridian, you get used to the rain pretty quickly. So that's what I did. I was used to it.
Yeah.
If my thing will stop being stupid.
No, yeah.
Don't be stupid.
I kind of wish it was more stormy.
Yeah, I can see that. Because it was really barely anything, wasn't it, last night?
It was quite disappointing. And the entire time, like I was solely waiting for like this big storm because I love storms. Oops. And then it took its sweet time getting here. And then we got about 5 hours, 6 hours of rain, and it wasn't even like heavy rain. It felt like a light shower, and I'm like, you know what? We get this normally. I wanted something incredible.
No
but
such
alas,
luck.
what was that?
No such luck.
No such luck. No. But, there's still time in hurricane season. We could still get another one.
There's supposed to be another one coming out soon or something.
Incredible. I'm looking forward to that.
I mean, we'll see if it actually does anything. There's a bunch that form it off in the distance. That doesn't mean they actually show up.
Yeah. You know what I really want? I want like this mega hurricane to just form like in the middle of the ocean, get up to like Cat 8, and then hit us.
They only go up to 5, right?
I know. I want it to be such a big storm that they like, this is so big, like we need to break out the extra numbers for this one.
I feel like that's a bit too far.
No, it's never too far.
People die in hurricanes like that.
People die in hurricanes like Dorian.
People die in normal rainstorms, guys. Death is just a thing that happens in life, all right? Without death, life is meaningless and not beautiful. I think someone said that.
Who was that person?
Was it a villain?
No, it was an ancient philosopher, I'm pretty sure.
Were they Christian?
No.
Then I don't believe them.
Were they a pagan?
Probably. What was the thing? It was like, life has no beauty without death. That was the quote.
Oh, okay. That's a little bit better than what you were saying before.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like I could see some merit in that statement.
I can see full merit in the thing that is life is meaningless without death.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, some people would argue otherwise. They'd be like, well, no, I get to do all the things. But I think it's, you're saying, I think the person whoever said that is they're arguing, right? Like, you wouldn't do anything if it wasn't for the fact you're going to die. I think
it's that, but also, like, the people who are always like, oh, I would wish to live forever. I'm like, you would get bored after 200 years. There's a finality in...
Those poor elves, man. They live for 700 years. Right?
Also, everyone you know and love would die.
Yeah, so you just stop loving people.
That would suck.
But I mean, like, even on a mass scale, like, if no one ever died, first off, there would be no new people after a while because carrying capacity would be hit real quick. And then it would just be people just kind of like sitting around like we've done everything.
Yeah, but that's what's going to happen, man. It's the Bible. That's what it says. We're going to get a new heaven and earth.
But that'll be different because at that point we'll be living in God in perfect paradise.
Our minds and bodies will be different.
Yeah. Welcome to the Philosophical Podcast. Hello, everybody. State your favorite philosophy, including wrong ones. I'm Frank Joseph Hall.
I'm Jeffrey Bassett.
I'm Zachary Dunkerton.
And today is another day of the podcast. I know. We actually are wearing different shirts from the last podcast. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I know.
Incredible.
God, the muffin.
Exactly. But probably not for the next podcast.
No.
Because that's how we roll. All right, do either of y'all have a topic? Either of y'all have something to talk about? Blue Eclipse podcast, topical podcast. We just talk about whatever we feel like it.
Correct.
We are holding back from certain topics because super secret cool thing that might come out. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just we have to figure out when the heck we're going to actually launch that super secret cool thing. But yeah.
Yeah. Pretty exciting.
We'll talk about it.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Jeff, Zach, either of you have a topic?
I don't have one on top.
All right, I got a topic.
Right.
We were discussing this a little bit before. So it's somewhat still relevant, I would argue. So the MCU recently at Comic-Con And then also at D23 announced a bunch of their shows.
Yeah.
And their new stuff. And I realized I didn't turn the fan on. Jeff, do you want to go turn the fan on?
Yeah.
So they announced a bunch of their new stuff. It's just one notch over. Put it on 3. And so I figured, what better? We can talk about our dream castings. What are some people who we'd love to see play specific roles in the Marvel Universe? You each get 3 to state, and then we, as the other 2 who are not stating it, get to tear apart why that is a horrible choice.
Ouch.
Okay.
Understood?
Yeah.
Can I go first?
Sure, give 1. We'll each give 1, and then we'll each give 1, and then we'll each give 1.
Okay.
Go. So Zach, go first.
Okay. Keanu Reeves, Beyonder.
I think that did I tell you that was mine?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone keeps being like, Keanu Reeves should be this, Keanu Reeves should be that, Keanu Reeves should be Namor. No. Here's what you should do. Secret Wars, old Secret Wars, where you got a bunch of alternate universes together to fight to the death for no reason. And which version of the Beyonder you do? You do the 80s perm white jumpsuit version of the Beyonder. And have Keanu Reeves play that. Yes.
I think he'd be perfect for the role, dude.
Like, he is able to do serious and comedy so quickly because of obviously Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
And then also every other thing he's been in.
John Wick.
John Wick is very serious, I think. And then think about that.
Yeah.
You could have a John Wick crossover. You're like, yeah, I got like these really cool guys, including this guy. He looks just like me, so that's why I got him.
Yeah.
Oh, can't get Spider-Man anymore though.
No, you
That
still
hurts.
can. You can get a version that Marvel had rights to. I'm sure.
Disney, please just buy Sony.
No, because that's going to make a lot of people in the industry lose jobs, and then listen.
Not necessarily.
No, that is what will happen. You don't need 2 accountants.
But
Fair.
we'd get Spider-Man back.
We would get Spider-Man. It's
I
worth
don't
it.
know if it's worth it. I
No,
think
it's
they
worth
should
it.
just make a deal where
100%.
they're not trying to get 50% of the profits of a movie. I think
No,
they
it's
should
worth
just,
it. It's worth it.
No.
Yeah.
Any objections to Keanu Reeves as the Beyonder?
I love Keanu Reeves, obviously.
Obviously.
He's incredible. I just don't know how well he would do in the Marvel Universe. Because I
he's
feel
too
like...
recognizable?
Not unrecognizable. I feel like just who Keanu Reeves is, he's like really just... I couldn't see him being like a superpowered person. I think that he's an amazing actor, and I think he would kill any role.
So
that
how
he
did
was
you
in.
feel about him as Neo?
I love the Matrix movies, and I think it's really great, and I think they did it well. I think what it is, I couldn't see him being someone as powerful as the Beyonder.
But the Beyonder is just like a dude, man. He's like if you pull him as like Q from Star Trek Next Generation, where you're just like a dude who has like omniscient powers. I think it could work.
Maybe, yeah.
I think it could
And
work.
it definitely depends on how the MCU would play the Beyonder.
Because I think we're at that point where we could do super weird stuff. We're getting a Moon Knight TV show.
Yeah,
we
we
can do
are.
some super weird stuff. We can. It'd be great. I would love it. Anyway, so Zach, any last minute thoughts on Keanu as the Beyonder?
No, I really think he'd be good for the role, like, no matter which way they go with it. Because they could go, very human, like you guys have suggested, or they could go, like, an upper being, far beyond us as Beyonder himself. But yeah.
Cool. All right, my pick is the first one. It's an out there pick, and I don't apologize. Okay, so a few years ago, it was rumored that Matthew McConaughey was in talks to play someone in the MCU. I pitch to you Matthew McConaughey as Norman Osborn. Now, you might be thinking, wait, Norman is a New Yorker. Matthew clearly has a Southern accent. Exactly. But just think about it. Hey, Peter. Welcome to Oscorp. All right. Now, you met my son Harry? He doesn't exist in this universe. It's fine. Now, listen, Peter, I'm going to just have to talk to y'all about something. Like, just think about it.
Yeah.
I think it would be fantastic. Now, obviously, if we could get Willem Dafoe back, I would also prefer that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
But I'm assuming we're not, and therefore, McConaughey. Listen, we already got the dream casting for J. Jonah Jameson again as J.K. With J.K. Simmons playing him again.
Absolutely.
Wise move.
Oh, yeah.
But think about that. Think about J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons, and Norman Osborn. Like, that interaction would be fantastic.
It would be incredible.
It would be brilliant. So now rip apart this beautiful picture. Go ahead.
Okay. I would love it if that happened. Like, just me personally, I would love it. I think it would throw everyone else off.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Everyone.
For sure.
For that reason alone, I feel like it would never happen.
Oh, but I want it so badly.
I think they could bring him into the universe as a different character, maybe, but McConaughey as Osborn, I don't
Just
think
think
so.
about it. He's Osborn, and then he eventually, leads the Dark Avengers. And he's like, "All right, everybody, just listen up. We're gonna take over the world." And
I can't see
some great
McConaughey in
things.
like a goblin mask. I can't see that.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just his face, man. He doesn't have to be the Goblin. He could just be Norman Osborn.
No, he has to be the Goblin.
No,
if
he
he's gonna
doesn't,
be Norman
man.
Osborn.
It's kind of integral, I feel.
Fine. Jeffrey, drop
So-
it in coffin.
Mine is
Oh, and then
strange.
you're gonna gotta.
Oh, okay, yeah.
was
I'll
wondering
tear
if you're
apart
gonna-
your Dreamcast there. I love Matthew McConaughey, obviously.
All right.
Amazing actor, and love his accent. It's one that I love to just kind of imitate myself.
Okay, that's right.
I think it would be so strange if he kept his southern accent in that.
That's why I
think
would love it
if they
so
cast him,
much.
he would absolutely drop the southern accent and he'd go to a more
That's a
plain
shame.
accent.
Yeah, I get you.
Because that's just how directors and movies
Fine.
and producers
Him
work.
as Wolverine. Anyway, continue.
That would be
Jeff,
funny.
your choice.
My choice, it's Strange.
We already have a Doctor Strange.
Okay, that's fair. I'll change everything that I was going to say.
Perfect.
Okay, I got it. Gerard Butler is Otto Octavius.
Wait, what?
I know, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, you gotta get a good defense for that.
I mean,
Gerard Butler is one of my favorite actors.
Oh.
And I feel he can be charismatic in the way that I need an Otto Octavius to be.
I don't.
I can kind of see that in a way because I've seen Gerard Butler in many different roles.
Yeah.
In that old Phantom film,
Oh,
and of
yeah.
course, like 300,
Incredible,
and I've actually seen him in like some weird romantic comedies where he just does like
Yeah.
a flawless accent. So I could see him changing, like sort of reinventing himself as an actor, or going
Yeah.
from
I actually can't. He always seems like he has to be like some version of a pretty boy. Like even in
Really?
Phantom, he wasn't that disfigured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was still like a attractive dude who just had a slight burn mark on the whatever side of his face.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I can't see him as like a nerd. Like, because ultimately Otto is somewhat nerdy.
Yeah.
Like he's an outcast, and that's partially what makes him become Dr. Ock.
Yeah.
I can't see Gerard Butler. I that's just like
Another part
maybe
of
him as like Kraven. That could be interesting. Kraven the Hunter.
that could I feel like I'd want more of a gruff, like super rough around the edges dude to play Craven. But
We already talked about
defense-
Michael Fassbender as
Yeah.
Kraven,
Yeah.
and then you have Chameleon as James McAvoy. Yeah, we already talked about. Yep.
but a little more in defense of how you say like he's sort of like a pretty boy in everything that he does. Hollywood does not cast not good looking people for anything.
That's true.
So it's very easy to be like, he's a nerd, but he looks really good.
I can't buy him as a nerd. Period.
That's fair.
Does not. I feel like if he would come across as like the guy who's clearly trying to be a nerd,
Yeah.
and it's like he would either go so far into like 80s cliche nerd territory, or like he wouldn't be a nerd, and then it's like, well, it's okay.
I think it depends on how much they work on changing him. Because the last movie I saw Gerard Butler in was Den of Thieves, where you mentioned how, he's always usually pretty. He was overweight in that. He was
Yeah.
gruff. He was
No, I think that's
very,
just Gerard Butler now.
Like,
No,
I think
he's,
it's just
he lost his weight.
No, I think that's just Gerard Butler.
I've seen
Let me insult the guy.
Please stop, my
Do you
hero.
know Leonardo's super overweight too when he's not doing movies?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
but he won an Oscar, so he's gotten his goal in life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's start. Jeff, you go again, and then Zach
Okay.
and me.
Was not prepared, but speaking of Leonardo DiCaprio,
Oh no.
no,
Brad Pitt as.
yikes. There are just so many possible things that they could bring into the MCU, especially with Disney having acquired everything that Fox used to have.
Which is everything.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man.
I would absolutely love, and it's going back on the little bit of J. Jonah Jameson and Osborn stuff being like recast as their old actors. Patrick Stewart being Professor X.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved it.
It's really good. But if you do that, I have to make the argument you need to get Ian McKellen as Magneto.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, are either of you up to date with House of X?
No.
So, the point of House of X is this is kind of a new way of explaining the mutants. They're establishing their own society. Mm-hmm. And this isn't like Magneto's done that before. He's established his own society and whatnot.
Yeah.
But this time, Professor X, Charles Xavier, is also a part of that, and he's also establishing this new society. And they're like, oh no, we're better than you. We're gonna go be away from you guys because this is probably what is needed. We're gonna take all the mutants. We're just gonna leave.
Yeah.
So I think they could be testing it out. That could be honestly how they integrate the mutants, because I've already talked about my gripes with it. It doesn't make sense to have mutants who everyone hates for having superpowers and being different and weird, but then they also love the other superheroes.
Yeah.
It's a weird contrast that doesn't make sense, and luckily the comics have kind of gone away from that a lot in recent years. So I think if they did that regard, where it's, it's like they're a different society, kind of inhuman-ish, but not fully. I think that could work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, I think he would work better not as a main character though.
Yeah.
Like just have him there for a little bit, but not like have the focus be on him. Because because like you kind of need to pass the torch on to new people.
Yeah. I think what they definitely could do is kind of pull on the storyline where Cyclops was sort of the leader at that point. But of course in the comics, Charles Xavier had been dead for a while. And they kind of played Cyclops as a bad guy. But I feel like even in the older movies, it was kind of leaning towards Cyclops was their little leader.
Yeah, a little bit. Even though everyone liked Wolverine more. Yeah. Yeah, and then they killed him in the third one for no reason. For no reason.
Strange things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Zach, any comments on Professor X as Patrick Stewart as Professor X?
No, I just feel like he's perfect for it. He was perfect for it.
My one criticism would be, and this is why it's probably never, this is of course dreamcasting, but my one criticism is the only reason I could see him not doing it is because they want to differentiate themselves from those movies. Yeah. And so they don't want to have any of the same actors in it. Yeah. Unless they're playing an obviously different role.
Yeah, that's fair.
So you could do like a young Charles Xavier, and then maybe if you ever do the Sentinels take over the world, you can have an old Professor X. That's Patrick Stewart. I could see that.
Yeah. Don't mind me as I look something up
for
my next thing.
All right. Mine. It's a twofold. It's two people, but they're a pair, so I feel like I can get away with it. Okay. We got the Fantastic Four back. Recently, Reed Richards has grown a beard, and a lot of people have said that he started to look like a specific actor. So my pitch for Reed Richards and Sue Storm, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. They are an actual couple, married in real life, have kids. They work together on A Quiet Place, which John Krasinski directed. I think that would be fantastic. And we already know John Krasinski was in the running to be Captain America before Chris Evans eventually took it. So, thoughts on the perfect casting of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt? Go.
I think it works on paper.
No, it works.
I don't know how well it would work like in practice. Because of like what we've gotten so far with Fantastic Four, like with the two previous movies and then Fan Force.
Here's what you do. You just get Brad Bird, who's directed The Incredibles. You get him to direct the Fantastic Four movie, and you're good. Yeah. You're solid.
I don't know how audiences would react because of what we've gotten before. I mean, obviously it'll attract, people who are big followers of the MCU, but with the track record that Fantastic Four has had, I don't know.
I think the Fantastic Four have not been tarnished enough that people aren't going to see their movies.
They're pretty tarnished.
I mean, I don't think most people, like, we're talking like super fans are like, the movies suck, but we're still going to see them anyway. I think the majority of people are like, oh, hey, a new Marvel movie, I'll go see that.
Yeah, I think the thing that really overrides that the most is now Marvel has the reins, and Marvel has shown such proficiency in making incredible movies with the characters that they have, that I think even if Fox had totally, absolutely ruined Fantastic Four, that
Marvel can say
knowing Marvel has it now, people are like, okay, this is going to be completely different the way it should be.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Now, granted, I also understand the criticism. I can get like John Krasinski hasn't really done a Reed Richards type role before, but we've also seen him like do actually pretty good. Like he has a pretty decent range. It's just he hasn't been in a movie to really show that chops. I would say the last good movie he was allowed to really like act in, it was A Quiet Place.
Didn't he also direct that?
Yeah.
Yes, that's part of the reason why. And of course, Emily Blunt is fantastic, and she would knock the park with that role easily. Easily, you could do any version of Sue Storm, and she would do perfect in it. 100%. She was great in Edge of Tomorrow. She was great in Quiet Place. She's great in like almost every movie except Mary Poppins. I didn't see it, so I don't know.
Yeah, she was good there too.
I didn't watch it. I don't care.
It's fair.
Even though it had Lin-Manuel Miranda. I don't care.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, that is my perfect choice. Zach is wrong.
Ouch.
No, I'm kidding. But I'm not kidding about the perfect choice. Zach, what is your second pick?
My second pick, I'm struggling to find a name.
Well, tell us. Go. What do you got?
I want Doom. I want Doctor Doom really bad.
Okay.
They've never done him right in the movies ever.
Yeah.
And like rarely ever even done it good in like cartoons or like in, extended universe sort of things. And Doom is just so cool, but like they always lame him down.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like this really charismatic dude who could rule a country, and to the point where like the country likes him.
Yeah. He's looked at as their hero. He has magic and science at the same time. I don't know. It's really fascinating to me, and I'm trying to come up with a good casting because whoever it is, they need to have presence.
I was thinking like Russell Crowe, but he's too old.
Yeah,
you need a young guy. Because he has to be about the same age as the Richards and the Storms.
I also feel like the way they've done him in the movies and cartoon, like everything that they've done with Doctor Doom, except for the comics, has been completely wrong, as you say. In the comics, he's much more than just a Fantastic Four villain.
Oh yeah,
he's a major villain that spans multiple different superhero teams.
He is an Avengers level threat.
Yeah. Oh no, he's more than that, man. He became a god at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
And then he wiped the universe.
So let's think. What would be a good caliber Doom actor?
It needs to be someone who can still emanate presence while in the suit, while having a mask and all the drapings with it, and still have a personality that comes through. Sort of like how.
Okay, hear me out. He is still older. Ron Perlman. We know he can act through like stuff with like Hellboy and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I don't know if he could do Doom well enough.
I think it would. I think that would be interesting.
Ron Perlman himself is such a character.
I know.
Oh yeah.
That I don't think he could pull himself. Like I don't think I could ever see him being serious enough to play someone like Doctor Doom who's always like he's always just like straightforward about what he's doing. He's always like, this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna accomplish my mission.
Yeah. Okay. Well then, Zach, you have 5 seconds to think of an actor.
Oh.
Yeah, you gotta give us a casting.
I was gonna talk more about Ron Perlman, but
Ron Perlman's great, but we have time, sir.
I mean, like off the top of my head, I can think maybe Tom Hardy, but
we're doing dream castings here, so we can allow that. No.
But can I just go off of Ron Perlman a little bit?
Sure, real quick.
My 2 cents about that. I think he could do a serious role, a seriously villainous role, because he was Slade in Teen Titans. Yeah. He's been Deathstroke. I'm more concerned about the physicality of him in that role. I mean, like obviously with these superhero films, they buff everyone up.
Yeah.
And even if they can't, they can.
See, my problem is I'm going off of his voice acting because it's fantastic. I would also put Clancy Brown in that. But the problem is Clancy Brown's in the same category as he's a little too old.
Physically, you probably can't quite do it.
I think voice-wise, they would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Tom Hardy, I think, can definitely pull the physicality.
Okay, so Tom Hardy's body, but with either Ron Perlman or Clancy Brown's voice. All right, we good.
It's a magical mashups.
Right. Round 3 of 17. Oh, my iPad just died. Okay, hold on.
No.
It's okay. We have technology. So, I am mad because someone stole my Beyonder one. That was my ace in the hole. So I will then instead choose Namor.
Okay.
All right. Namor, he can come up. They have the rights back to him. I think Fox
had it.
Fox had him. Never did anything with him. So we basically Namor is Aquaman, but a lot more serious. Yep. I think, depending on the version, he's a mutant. Depending on the version.
Depending on the version.
Sure. But he's basically a much more like where Aquaman's kind of like a lot more lighthearted. This one is like he's like, nah, I don't take crap.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think it really quickly. Keanu Reeves as Namor. No, it could work though.
I could see that more than I could see Keanu Reeves more being Namor.
I know we said Michael Fassbender is Kraven, but Michael Fassbender is Namor. I think that could work.
I could see that.
That could actually work really well.
Are they making a Namor movie?
Dreamcastings, sir. Dreamcastings. I don't care.
Yeah, I forget if that was announced or not.
They have not announced that, no.
The only thing that they've talked about Namor is like they hinted at it in Endgame. Like there was an earthquake under the ocean.
And
we don't deal with it.
We don't deal with it.
We deal with it by not dealing with it.
So I would say Mr. Fassbender as Namor.
Yeah.
I think that could really work. He's got the gravitas.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the no nonsense kind of attitude.
He can definitely pull off the arrogance of the role.
Yeah.
And then he can do whatever accent he wants.
Yeah.
He can be like Chadwick Boseman and define the accent for the entire Atlanteans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my real quick Namor. Zach, which one of you is ready?
I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
So
Kang the Conqueror as.
Yeah. Me. No. So this one's a weird one. A lot of people probably don't think about it as much, but now that we have the X-Men stuff back, I really want to see Legion. And I know they have a TV show, maybe
That's
still
doing
going.
Really well.
It's still going. I saw the first episode,
sure,
or I saw the first season, or maybe I saw the second season. Well, it was incredible. But if they're gonna like put him in the actual MCU and maybe do a movie, Nicholas Hoult, I believe is how you say it. He plays Beast in
I know.
in the weird X-Men movies.
He was also that zombie in Warm Bodies.
Yeah. I feel
also
like
Jack in the Beanstalk. Oh gosh.
But I feel like I could see him being Legion as I forget his main personality. But I could see him playing that incredibly well.
Going back to the Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy, we literally saw James McAvoy play multiple personalities in Split. So here you just
and Split was really good.
Yeah. So you could just do that too. But
I feel like the best way to play a Legion is not have the same actor play multiple of his personalities. Bring in someone new to play each different personality.
So it's more like we see a different actor, but it's just like visual representation rather than that's actually what happens.
Yeah.
Or you could even make it where like they physically change. You could do that too if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not bad. What do you think, Zach?
I think that works out pretty well. I don't know. I don't really see a whole lot wrong with it to poke at it.
My problem is I don't see a whole lot because the actor hasn't really.
Yeah.
He's done stuff, but nothing like that ever like sticks out as really good.
Yeah.
That's my only thing. That's nothing per se bad, but Marvel tends to do really well with those actors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Zachary Dunkerton, your last one. And then I have a final one. I know. Yeah. This is gonna be the last one, and then we will discuss the perfection that it is, and we're good.
Yeah, just a second ago, I was searching through like obscure characters where I'm like, okay, like who do I think could maybe fit these roles? And I was like, or too obscure, and couldn't really find anything. So kind of going back to the X-Men, like I know he said he's done, but I really loved Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Well, he also said he would do one if he was in an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Which supposedly there was rumors that he was going to cameo in the first Avengers movie way back in the day.
Yeah, I heard about that.
He was going to just be there at looking like Wolverine. That was the rumor, of course. They never went through with that because now we are at where we are now.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we've had good and bad Wolverine films.
Yeah.
But
you know who I could see as a new Wolverine? And granted, he is short, which is probably why. What is his name? He was in Kingsman. And then he was also in that bad Robin Hood movie.
Oh,
Joel
Joel Edgerton.
Joel Edgerton. I think could be a pretty good Wolverine. First of all, he's got the physicality down pat. He does a lot of his own stuff.
He's really young though.
I'm trying to think.
I
can't.
Like super young.
So Wolverine's not supposed to be old.
I think he's supposed to be like at least in his 30s though.
Not necessarily. You can do whatever version you want.
Okay, yeah.
He's just not a student in Xavier's school.
I don't know. Like, I guess I've always just thought of Wolverine as being older.
I was having trouble like picturing who he was.
Wait, is it that guy? Let me check.
Yeah, this is Joel Edgerton.
No. That's a different guy. Hold on. That is that. Oh, you know what? That could work too. He's actually a pretty good guy. He directed The Guest and all that. No, I'm thinking. Give me a second.
He played Tom in the Leonardo DiCaprio version.
He also directed a movie called The Gift, which I recommend everybody watch. It's Taron Egerton.
Oh,
that guy.
Are they related?
No, they're not.
All right.
One's British, one's not.
Oh, Eggsy.
Yes.
I don't know.
Eggsy.
After seeing him play Eggsy, I was just I couldn't see him playing.
That's fine.
Wolverine.
Okay, we'll go back to Joel Edgerton, who directed a bunch of stuff and is actually he's a lot older.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could work. That could work.
Yeah.
But no, going back to your Hugh Jackman, yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to see him one more time, sure, but I also think Logan was such a perfect end to his career as that character. I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, I really understand coming at it from that perspective because, obviously when a show goes on for too long, even if it's good.
Yeah, it's like with how Mark Hamill, he ended the Joker fairly well.
Yeah.
And then he's like, the only way I'll come back is if I do the Killing Joke. And then they forced in the Killing Joke just to have him back.
Yeah.
And it didn't work well.
Yeah, those animated movies kind of went downhill.
I'm talking about the video game.
Oh.
Yeah, they had like allusions to the Killing Joke in the video game. And that's why he came back in Arkham Knight.
Yep.
I love those games.
That being said, I did think Troy Baker did a good job replacing him.
Yeah.
In Origins. So, you guys ready for the best casting? Bar none. Okay, this is a very obscure character.
I'm ready.
Do you either of you two know the character Gravitron?
Yes.
No.
Gravitron. Okay, so he basically controls gravity. Pretty cool to do. Okay. So, my dream casting for him, Franklin Hall, is me, Frank Hall. Now, hear me out.
Oh, my.
Personality-wise, I don't know anything about
First of all, I can act. How dare you?
Yikes.
I said personality-wise, I don't know about the character.
So I'm exactly, which means I can define him however I want. Listen, just hear me out for this one thing and one thing only. Marvel, if you're somehow coming across this very obscure podcast, hear me out. How great would it be if people are like, oh, wow, they're doing Gravitron? I mean, they kind of had him in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, but they got rid of him.
Yeah.
Cool. Who's playing this guy, Franklin Hall? It just says Frank Hall. Is that a typo? Are they serious? Someone doesn't actually have that name who's going to play the character, right? Listen, if it worked for Freddie Prinze Jr. and the Scooby-Doo movies, it can work for me and Gravitron. I could be like a lackey that gets punched off real easy by whoever the new Cap is. Either one of them. Both of them at the same time. That works for me too. Listen. The joke is there.
Do it for the meme.
Now, if I actually had my choice of picking who I'd play, Wonder Man, clearly. I love Wonder Man. Fantastic role. Love that guy. But for the joke alone, Frank Hall is Franklin Hall.
Yeah. For the meme,
That's
it
what
works.
I thought.
For the meme, it works.
For the meme.
How dare you? How dare you? I can grow facial. I can't grow facial hair. And my long hair does not look as good as older versions of him.
Yeah.
But I could be Wonder Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could be Wonder Man pretty well. Villain who turned actor turned hero.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. Well, thank you guys for listening to what was basically a long setup for that joke.
Yeah. It's incredible, though.
Yeah, it'd be the greatest setup.
Yeah.
And anyway, thank you so much. Feel free to listen to us some more. We do have podcasts available, and if you're listening on the podcast, we do have the video available on YouTube, so you can check us out at Blue Eclipse podcast on either YouTube or Apple or Spotify or iTunes or whatever the other ones are. Google, that was it. So anyway, thank you guys so much. We are excited, and we hope to see you guys next week, even though we can't see you. I am Frank Joseph Hall.
I'm Zachary Dunkerton.
I'm Jeffrey Bassett.
And this has been the podcast. So just hear me out.
Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter, and buy a shirt.
We don't have shirts.
We don't have shirts?
No, we're not having shirts yet.
Jeff?